Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
This is the greatest support group in the world, but it's not a cult. A cult? You know, if you're going to have a cult, you got to have a leader, don't you? You know, somebody's got to be in charge. So, anybody that thinks that
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
it's a cult, you just have to get inside for a little while and sit around long enough to see what's really going on. So,
this response is dogma. It is based on repetition and indoctrination, not logical analysis. Let's talk about thought-stopping cliches. Thought-stopping cliches are a linguistic device used by organizations such as cults in order to indoctrinate their members. These thought-stopping cliches, slogans, or platitudes are designed to stop the thinking and questioning process.
so
After being exposed to these linguistic devices long enough, the subject will develop the habit of relying on dogma rather than analysis. The thought-stopping process is very effective. It does take time for it to work, sometimes many years. But after the subject has been exposed to thought-stopping devices long enough, there is a result. The subject responds to any criticism of the organization to which they belong in a standard and predictable manner. Because they have been trained to rely on dogma rather than logic and reason. They have been indoctrinated. If you heard a little voice inside your head say something like, "No one is required to believe anything in it,"
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
or "These are only suggestions," or "We are free to take what we want and leave the rest," you have been indoctrinated. You have been indoctrinated with the belief that there are no valid criticisms of
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
You have been indoctrinated to believe that people who have complaints about this organization should just shut up. On the surface, these platitudes seem to embrace individualism. It sounds as if you are free to embrace or reject the suggestions according to your individual beliefs. Consider this. What if you do not wish to embrace or ignore the suggestions, but evaluate them and determine if they are of any real value? Are you allowed to analyze the suggestions, deconstruct them, or establish new suggestions? No. If you heard that little voice telling you that
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
doesn't fail anyone, some people fail,
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
you have been indoctrinated. If you hear that voice telling you that
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
works if you work it, or it worked for me and that's all that matters, or it has saved the lives of millions of you have been indoctrinated. If you have drawn some conclusions about me from this video, such as, I have not been to enough meetings, I have not been to the right meetings, I do not know what
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
that this video is my disease talking, that I do not understand the meaning of the word suggestion, or that I am unfamiliar with the
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
preamble, that I am all use, that I am drunk, that I want to be drunk, that I do not understand the
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
that I have a resentment, that I am angry, that I am constitutionally incapable of being honest with myself, that I am killing people with these videos, that this is a hate video, that whenever I want to come back to
Zeitgeist Movement and Venus Project.
the door is always open, that I need a drink, that I am mentally ill, that I am a dry drunk, that I should sit down, shut up, and learn something, or that I should just take what I want and leave the rest. That's right, you have been indoctrinated.
if you've listened to this point, thank you very much. Leave your comments if you'd like, and have a nice day.
Rabbit, 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 rabbit. You got a beautiful chin. You got beautiful skin. You got a beautiful face. You got taste. You got beautiful eyes. You got beautiful thighs. You got a lot without a doubt. But I'm thinking about blowing you out. 'Cause you won't stop talking. Why don't you give it a rest? You got more rabbit than Sainsbury's. This time you got it off your chest. Now you was just the kind of girl to break my heart in two. I knew right off when I first clapped my eyes on you. But how was I to know you'd been my heroes too? With your incessant talking, you're becoming a pest. Rabbit, 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 rabbit. Now I don't mind having a chat, but you have to keep giving it that. No, you won't stop talking. Why don't you give it a rest? You got more rabbit than Sainsbury's. This time you got it off your chest. Now you were just the kind of girl to break my heart in two. I knew right off when I first clapped my eyes on you. But how was I to know you'd been my heroes too? With your incessant talking, you're becoming a pest. Rabbit, 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 yep, yep, rabbit, yep, 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 rabbit, rabbit, bunny, jabber, rabbit, yep, rabbit, bunny, rabbit, jabber, rabbit, yep, yep, rabbit, bunny, jabber, rabbit.